Welcome to an in-home edition of TexAgs Rewind presented by T-Mobile. As I learn how to speak the English language, T-Mobile wants to remind you guys to visit T-Mobile.com/across America to learn more how you can get value and coverage through T-Mobile. All right, so this awesome thing called technology, I can do the show from home and allowed us to do the Go Hour here, talking about A&M Kentucky. That really carried the entire show, but we started things off with a bang there in the Go Hour. We did around college basketball with our buddy Aaron Torres. He gave us thoughts about all things happening in college hoops, but really gave a lot of props there to Texas A&M, Logan Lee, on those offensive struggles. Yeah, they could not hit a free throw. They could not hit a three-point shot. It was a difficult night to watch, but still Aggies almost came away with it. And then it was the fan show presented by Girard Construction. We got that all on this episode of TexAgs Rewind presented by T-Mobile. I don't like moral victories. I know coaches don't like moral victories. I'm not calling last night a moral victory. I'm asking you, though, did they prove something to you? And what I mean by that, I think the players, obviously, they're players. They believe in themselves. They believe in their system. They believe in the work that they've put. But I think me, as somebody who has seen this team play most games this year and the intensity that they play with, I still didn't know what to believe when it came to superior talent. You can look at Arkansas and say that's a superior team, and they took care of business there even though they were down. Against Kentucky, they brought their A-game defensively, which I think will travel with them against any team that they play. So I ask you, OB, did they prove anything to you?
I don't know if they proved anything to me as much as they reinforced my opinion that the strength of that team is just the mental toughness and the intestinal fortitude. I think we talked about that yesterday. I was saying I thought what gave A&M the best chance is just that they're a dogged, determined team that just never quits. Because again, I hate to harp on it, but how can you not? It still goes back to the fact that you couldn't shoot. Now, get the ball inside to Henry Coleman. You've got, he played great. He's playing like an all-conference guy. And Aaron Cash played, I think, over his head. But you've got to, they couldn't shoot. So I think that you saw a lot of guys step up and play hard and really compete and was just never gave up and was relentless. But I see that from this team, I think, every game. What I typically don't see is a team that just can't buy a bucket from beyond the arc. They were Arctic cold from three-point range. And just think, if they shot 15%, a miserable 15% from three-point range, they win the game. So I think they just reinforced to me what they are in terms of heart and in determination. But I think when you shoot like that, it raises questions of, how accurate can you be as this SEC season moves forward?
A couple things. First of all, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, is I follow the portal really closely in football and maybe even more closely in basketball because this is the new world that we live in. Kentucky has turned their program into a top 10 team because of the portal. Auburn has 2 or 3 transfer starters. But by the way, Henry Coleman, Marcus Williams, right? I mean, it's not A&M is a perfect example. But I was as guilty as anybody of looking at the guys that Texas now, going back to Texas, brought in this offseason. A bunch of all-conference caliber players. One, and somebody told me this, and I think it's true, none of them really came from winning programs. Marcus Carr didn't win at Minnesota. Timmy Allen didn't win at Utah. Trey Mitchell didn't win at UMass. But then two, how do all these really great individual talents work well together? And I think there's a difference, as always, between putting together the best roster and a team that works well together. And so I'm by no means giving up on Chris Beard. But you bring in 4 or 5 all-conference caliber players, and now you're asking them to all play a different role than they've ever played. I think it's a challenge. It's certainly a challenge that they could potentially overcome. But I also think it's worth noting that this is the quote-unquote easy part of their conference schedule. They haven't played Kansas yet. They'll play Kansas twice. They haven't played Baylor yet. They'll play Baylor twice. By the way, they got 2 games against Texas Tech, so Texas Tech will be fired up for that. So it's easy to say it's year one, it's Chris Beard, we trust them, blah, 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 blah. But you look at where they are, they don't have any real signature wins to speak of. And the fact that the tough part of the schedule is coming up, I don't think there's too many Longhorn fans listening to us right now, David, but if I were a Longhorn fan, I'd be concerned.
Hey, did you know, because I did not know, Rasheed Wallace was involved in coaching with Penny Hardaway? I saw the news that he is with the team, but not because of some health-related issues. I don't know what's going on, but I caught my attention, especially you tweeted about it. What's going on there with Penny and Sheed?
Yeah, well, Sheed isn't Penny Hardaway last year was flirting with NBA teams, kind of like what Harbaugh's doing right now. And I don't know if he had any concrete offer on the table, but I think it was part leverage on the school to kind of bring in the staff that he wanted. And so Larry Brown, the infamous Larry Brown, formerly of SMU and a million other places, is an assistant there. And then Rasheed Wallace was brought in really late in the process. And so Rasheed Wallace had no coaching experience that I know of. I think he was actually set to coach in high school, comes to college, and was an assistant at Memphis. And so I was told this morning it was a medical thing, COVID protocols, but that he's not coming back to the team. So it makes you wonder, he's either really, really, really sick, or they're using it as an excuse because he doesn't really want to be there. And
all right, so offensively, I know we can focus on the missed threes and the missed free throws, and I want us to get into that. But to me also, it felt like their offense got disjointed in the second half to where they were over dribbling. They were not really in sets. You see it through a player's eyes. Am I seeing that correctly? Like what happened to the offense beyond the missed shots?
Well, that's that was the thing that we talked about before the game was how do they play with pace and not have to get into that half court set, because they really struggle in the half court offense. We've seen that for 3 years now. They don't do well in their half court sets, but I think this is the second game in a row where we've seen A&M be hurt by the fact that they don't have a go-to player. They don't have a guy that they can just get him the ball and something good is going to happen. They don't know who that is. So you can put the ball in Wade Taylor's hands and something good may happen, but he needs it a number of times in a row. You can put the ball in Marcus Williams' hand, but he needs it a couple of times in a row. When the going gets tough, they don't have one guy that everybody just looks to and says, here, take the ball, make something happen. Let's get a bucket. We had AC Law. AC Law was our confidence. If we were within 5 points with 4 minutes left, we were getting him the ball and we knew we were going to win. Because, and it's not that it's not that he had to do everything. It's just that he may penetrate and kick it to Josh Carter in the corner. And Josh knew, if I get the ball right now, I'm shooting it. That is my job. That is what I am supposed to do. This team, if Marcus Williams attacks and Quentin Jackson gets it, they kick it to Quentin Jackson, he probably is going to catch it. And if he's not open, he's going to dribble it up to half court. And then he's going to try to make a play off a ball screen. And if that doesn't work, he's going to kick it to Hassan Diarra. Hassan Diarra is then going to go to the half court and try to play off a ball screen. And there's never just that flow of, hey, if X happens, Y happens. And that's what A&M is missing. And that's where their struggle was last night at the second part of the second half.
Usually the loudest one in there is Matt Browning. Matt, I know you've got some hot sports takes. What is on your mind?
Well, I'll be honest, man. I went to the game last night.
I did too.
And it was – you didn't go?
Oh, my kid had basketball practice.
No, buddy.
It was awesome.
So this is my take, right? So it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Now, again, obviously not the result we wanted, but
no.
I've got to say that the 12th man this year has been unbelievably good.
Unbelievably good.
We're talking about – that was one of the most fun – I've been going to Aggie basketball for decades now.
Yeah.
Now, those 2006, 2007 years with AC and those teams, those were pretty hyped too. But, the 12th man last night, the student section has been unbelievable this year. You can credit them with what a lot of people told me was the best football atmosphere we had against Bama this year.
Yep.
I didn't go because I had BAS and I was a giant wuss and I thought we were going to lose. So I own that. Auburn was amazing. And then last night, when we show some life in basketball, we've got a great atmosphere.
And the team responded to it. You could see they were fired up.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Buzz feeds into that, and then the students support a winner. We saw that with Gillespie, and then when Hogue and Davis and all those guys were here, the kids came out. They'll support a winner.
Baseball's the blueprint. Look at how we do with baseball. Basketball has just as much potential, and it was fantastic. David, I guess you didn't go?
No, I was planning on going, but I came into contact with somebody, so we all thought I'd stay away. So, but I'll be back soon enough, no doubt about that. All right, let's go now to Kelly. Kelly, what is on your mind?
Henry Coleman is on my mind. That guy, I'm a big Duke fan, so I watched him play every game he played at Duke last year. And I always thought he could be good as a Duke fan. And then here comes A&M, and I thought he could be good again. But he has been super impressive the last probably 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. I thought the team was one all-SEC first-teamer type guy away from making the NCAA tournament. And Coleman is proving to be that guy. And if he can keep doing that and we get a little bit get better guard play, we could win a game in the tournament, which is weird from what I thought where I was 6 months ago.
Yeah. That's true. He was rebounding. He was everywhere. I mean, he was the heart of that team last night. When granted the guards played, I thought they played their hearts out. They did not have a great game. Obviously, the shooting was poor. Mm-hmm. The turnovers were poor. The free throw shooting was poor. But Henry Coleman and Aaron Cash. I got his name wrong last time. I did it again. Those two they blew me away with how hard they played against one of the best rebounding teams. I think the best rebounding team in college basketball.
Mm-hmm. Cash would be great if he was 3 inches taller. Like if you watch him huddle up at a free throw.
But he can rebound like a madman.
He works hard.
Yeah.
But he's maybe the only guys on the court shorter than him are like Gordon and Williams. Yeah. And he's trying to play post, and he's doing the best he can. He just needs to be 3 inches taller.
Rodman and Barkley, neither one
That's true.
Were 7
You're absolutely right about that.
All right, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks to T-Mobile for sponsoring this amazing content. We want to remind you all to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, tell your friends about it, and make 2 prank calls today, just saying something random to anybody out there. It is TexAgs Rewind presented by T-Mobile.